Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. Huge result then for Arsenal, who of course now stretch their lead at the top of the table, meaning they are 6 clear now of Manchester City, who are level on points with Aston Villa. For more on this, let's welcome in, shall we, Frank Leboeuf. But I want to start off with you, Stevie. How did City blow this?
You know, the small things matter. When you don't put teams away, the small things matter. And what Ali's talking about there with O'Reilly, doesn't take him inside, doesn't show him the line. It's just lazy. Gets square on, and then he can't recover. I mean, it's the actions of a guy who's really not a defender, who's asked to play defensively. Right. And that's what's caught them. You know, other than the Neto chance, nothing else from Chelsea going forward. That little detail where you play essentially a midfielder as a fullback, that's what it catches up with you sometimes, and it caught up with them today.
And we sit here week after week when we have the discussion, well, who's the favorite to win the Premier League? And I think most of us will say, well, Arsenal seem like the more likely team. And when we have arguments against Manchester City, the first thing that comes up, the outside back position and transitions defensively. And people will say, well, Nicol has done a good job. He has done a job. Matheus Nunes has done a good job. He's done a job. They've been asked to play at a position, but eventually you get exposed. And he gets in trouble here because I'm going to address something that Stevie just mentioned there. You don't have defensive instinct. If you're a defender and you know you're in the 94th minute, you got to force Malo Gusto to do something, to force him to the outside, and your body position has to be such that you're not beaten by one move. You don't just leave 20 yards of space behind you, get beaten, and have nobody to actually cover you. So basically, you either force them to the outside, you give them the space, you allow your center backs to get in position defensively, you allow trailing midfielders to get in defending positions, you delay, force them to the outside, and nothing happens. But when you take yourself out of the defensive position and now allow Chelsea to create a chance out of nothing, now you need people to help you on the backside. And that's when the other outside back comes into play, Matheus Nunes. He's not in the position that he should be to begin with, and then has the missed clearance. So your two outside backs are exposed. We don't just sit here and talk about these things because we're picking on O'Reilly and Matheus Nunes. We mention it because these are weak points, and weak points show up when you least expect it, and this was the case for Manchester City today.
And guess who doesn't do that? Arsenal, Mateta. He could have played Lewis Skelly. Everybody wants Lewis Skelly to play because he's really good going forward, but he's questionable defensively. So what does Arteta do? He plays in Capia there. I mean, those are the little things that will decide the Premier League, and right now, it looks like Arsenal's.
Leboeuf at the back would never concede that goal, would you, Frank?
No, not sure about that, but it's true that it's a main point, and I think Stevie alluded it last time, where he said that, you know, I don't know if teams work during the training session defensively. I don't know what they do, and it can be for Manchester City, it can be for Liverpool this season, it can be also for Chelsea for sure. It can be for any team but Arsenal, and Arsenal are the first in the Premier League. I mean, I used to play football when Italy was the best championship in the world because they were firstly working defensively. They were making sure that they didn't concede any goal and then try to have some chances. It was maybe boring. It was a 1-0 most of the time win, but it was very effective. And nowadays, we don't see that, and we feel that they don't work on that. And that's clear for us that they don't have any knowledge about the basics, the foundation of defending together. And that's what I see. I wasn't the best defender, but in terms of communication, of work, we knew exactly what our teammate was doing. Anywhere on the field.
So Frank, to that point, I just want to, because to that point, does the fact that Vardiol and Diaz were both off the pitch offer City an excuse in your two main centre-backs are obviously not playing?
Well, it can put the level a little bit below expectation, but the others, they are football players. They're professional players. I remember sometime being injured, and the guy was behind me. It was the young John Terry, or was Steve Clark as well, and it wasn't Marcel Desailly. They knew what they had to do. They knew how to communicate because we are working on that. We are working 6 against 11 twice a week. You know, where we are playing only the 4 at the back, the goalkeeper, and the 2 midfield against 11 guys. So, and we knew we had to communicate for half an hour to make sure we didn't concede any goal. And most of the time, we never conceded any goal because we knew how to cover each other, how to move from left to right, and it could be anybody, any individuals. It worked, but I want to see that. I want to make sure. I'm pretty sure that they don't work on that during training session.
More to the point, sorry, Steve, more to the point, actually, Dan, when you say your 2 center backs are off the field injured, that's when you have to be even more aware if you are Nicol O'Reilly and if you're Mateus Nuñez and whoever has come in and played in the center back position. That's when you have to be even more attentive to details and the awareness, special awareness around you. The defensive, the moment, what does it call for? If you're Nicol O'Reilly, you cannot go chase a ball that you're not going to get to. You're not going to go and challenge a ball that you're not going to get to. You give yourself some space so that you can accommodate for a potential mistake, so that you can force the play to go backwards and not be on you. So actually, the point that you're making, while it may seem a valid one, it actually goes even more against Nicol O'Reilly in his decision-making here because he should be more aware. It's like, okay, these guys are off the field. I need to be a little bit more cautious, a little bit more conservative. I don't need to take this chance.
6 points, Stephen. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's not insurmountable, but I think what we're seeing,
It feels like more, doesn't it, though?
Yeah, it feels
You
as
just
though
don't
they're
feel that
further
City's
ahead.
going to win 18 games in a row.
No, they're not. They're not, and for the reasons that we've just picked out one reason why we think they won't, and that's because they've got 2 fullbacks who don't defend. So six is not. It's not insurmountable. It's not huge. Just as Ali said, it feels as though it really is Arsenal's to lose.
That old like 50-40-10 that we were talking about with percentages. I think this has kind of swung that pendulum even more in Arsenal's favour, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, Man City, in order to chase Arsenal, had to have everybody fit every single time, and they had to play a strong team every time. You know, City's not in a position where Arsenal are, where they're deep enough, I think, to rotate and know that they're going to win. I think when City rotates, you're not quite sure. You don't get that. You don't get that with Arsenal, whether they rotate or not. They look as though they're going to win, and generally they do.
Forgive us if we don't talk about Chelsea too much, but we will, of course, talk about their new coach. Rosenior looks like he's almost definitely going to be appointed tomorrow, Frank. That's what everybody is telling us. What do you make of it? What have you seen of him in France? Is this a good appointment, or is this too soon for someone who lacks a sort of resume for such a big club with such big expectations?
Well, for Strasbourg's fans and Strasbourg's players, it's not very good news, but he's a fantastic coach. He's a great coach. He knows how to make people work and work together. What I saw from him in Strasbourg in a year and a half with the Racing Club Strasbourg has been very efficient, and I want to wish him the best because he has all the knowledge and the psychology to make the people work and work very well. He did it with young players, so I don't know what's going to happen with experienced players, but we can see Chilwell plays for Strasbourg this year, and according to what I saw, and some people will tell me, it's a different guy from before he left Chelsea. So I guess he knows also how to work with experienced players. So it's going to be a good thing for, hopefully, is what I think for Chelsea. So I wish him good luck.
There's a slight problem, though. You're going to have to do as you're told. Liam Rosenior's going to have to do as he's told. It's pretty clear that's why Maresca's not there. And
what does that mean?
In terms of, look, if there is one thing that you must be in charge of as the coach or the manager, whatever you want to call it, is when it comes down to the football, who's playing, who's not playing, who comes on, who comes off. You have to be in charge of that. Right. All the other stuff you can accept. But it absolutely looks like that's the problem Maresca had. And so any coach with any real self-respect, if he's not able to do those things, then I'm sorry, no, you shouldn't be. If he understands...
Is this appointment a good thing or not?
Well, it is for the hierarchy at Chelsea, because he's a young manager and they know that they can tell him what to do.
Will he make them better than what we've seen?
I don't know. I don't know an awful
I
lot
appreciate
about
that, because that's a very good answer, because we don't know. There's
I-
much on this show we don't know and we pretend we do.
But,
so let's just
but
be
what
honest.
we do know is he's going to be told what to do. That's a horrible place to start. Any manager who walks into a job knowing that there will be times when he can't pick and choose who's playing and who's not. That is a non-starter for anybody with self-respect.
And
Well,
whether that's true or
but
not.
Stevie, what do you,
Go ahead, Frank.
Sorry, Ali. What do you think it happened to him in Strasbourg? You know, we know that Chelsea, the owner of the Racing Club of Strasbourg now, and player that he built the team with had to go to Chelsea last season, like Andre Silva, for example, and we are told that many players are going to leave if they are good enough. So every year he has to do something, and he doesn't decide. And for the 2 years that he's been, he managed to deal with what he had. So I don't know if it's going to be an easy task, for sure not. I don't know if he's going to get all the power. I don't think he will. But I think he's good enough to manage and to not find any excuses like Maresca was trying to get. And hopefully it's going to work for him.
So there's one little problem, Frank, that he's going to have. Pressure. I mean, Maresca, when he loses a couple of games, is under pressure. You're picking the wrong players. You're picking the wrong team. That's part of the reason he's not there. Because he's sitting every night in his house after they've lost and he's not been able to play somebody, or he's had to do as he's told, and he's getting pelters from everything coming from inside the building and the fans outside the building. That's called pressure. And that's the difference between managing Strasbourg and your job is to bring on young players. At Chelsea, your job is to win. That's a different ballgame.